Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, simplest sports fantasy game in the market. You can pick from multiple sports platforms. Get this, sign up using the code ASU and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Download the app for free at the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, T, it looks like we're finding our. When I say we're finding the Atlanta Falcons back in the mainstream media because
Right,
of recent comments made by our owner. Before I
right.
get to that, how do you feel just personally about an owner that's involved, such as Arthur Blank, Jerry Jones, maybe Al Davis, those type of owners?
Well, if you have a good pulse of your organization, if you know football, I don't mind you doing it at all. But if you're just doing it just to be seen and someone has to brief you on what's going on, you shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Arthur over the years have become more knowledgeable about the game. He knows what he wants to see from his organization. He knows what type of players that he wants to see. I don't think he knows scheme and all those things, but I think he knows uh, good players when he see it, and I have no issue with it. Um, what it does when an owner does that, it puts all the onus on him,
Mm-hmm.
all the responsibilities on him, all the fingers pointed at him, and that's a sign of a great leader. When the leader steps out there and says the things that he says, and takes the heat off the back of your GM and your head football coach, I think it's a plus. Sometimes as we see in the Jerry Jones situation, even Al Davis, that sometimes that you could muddy up the waters a little bit because you're not on the same page. But
Right.
at the end of the day, they are trying to do the same things, and that's win as many football games as they can and play for the championship.
And to let everybody know what we're referring to is basically there's an owners meeting going on right now. So owners are there, head coaches and things like that, and GMs. But Arthur Blank was basically asked about why they may not be pursuing Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
just he just stated, based on Lamar's past couple of years injuries, it was kind of concerning. He didn't say that he wasn't a great quarterback and that they wouldn't necessarily like to have him. He just basically
Right.
said at this time it wasn't, I guess, for them.
Yeah, and then he said he'd eat up too much of the cap space,
Mm-hmm.
as we said before.
Exactly.
So he said the things that we've been talking about. I don't think, personally, when you're trying to find excuses to not sign a guy, you talk about injuries, you talk about this, you talk about that, this and that and that. But here's at the end of the day, the guy is dynamic. At the end of the day, he wins 7, 8 games for you a year. And then you got to rely on the defense, special teams, and coaching decisions to win another 4 or 5, if you may say so. But at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson is one of the elite players in the NFL, one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just unfortunate right now that he has to go through this. His fans have to go through this. The Ravens have to go through this right now of all this scrutiny that's going on in the media about who he is and what he thinks about. Now, uh, and, and here's the thing, the biggest thing this week was, um, what was it, March 2nd, he asked for a trade. Well, guess what? Guess what? That doesn't mean that he does not want to be a Baltimore Raven. What that meant was he knew that that tag was about to come down. He knew what they wanted to do. And the thing was, out of, maybe frustration, he says, "Well, trade me. If
Right.
if if you don't want to sign me, trade me." And that may have come. He may have asked for a trade. Does that mean he wants out of Baltimore? No. It's just strategy. It's just bargaining. It's just one of those things. And the thing is, I think his teammates still love and endure him. I think his head football coach
Yeah.
still loves and endure him. And I think the Baltimore Ravens fans still love and endure him. And I think at some point they need to come together and get this thing done. and they become AFC contenders for the championship.
All right. And saying that, they almost announced, day after, right after the next day or prior to that day, that Desmond Ridder is going to be the starter going into
Right.
the next season.
Right.
We've heard a lot of things though come out of Flowery Branch and from them since they took over. So honestly, not saying you, me personally, I'm always pessimistic. I don't necessarily believe them because they did that with Matt, they did that with Julio,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really know until I see Ridder out there game one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe anything, honestly. I just don't.
Well, here's the thing. It helps Ritter to feel secure, and for him, it gives him a chance to go full speed ahead
Mm-hmm.
and to get better whatsoever.
Right.
He has no control of what. Only thing he can have control over is where he prepares and 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 get better every day. That's all he can control. He can't control if somebody comes available, he gets traded or gets benched or whatever it may be. He can't control that. That's out of his control. But a little bit is in his control is the way how fast he uh, gets better and how well he plays in mini camp and OTAs. But I truly think that's the best thing to do. It's still this is still a young football team, and you still got young weapons around him. And I think that offensively they've done a really good. I'm I'm not going to say a really good job, a good job in free agency so far. They signed the guys back that they need to sign back, especially on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They're adding offensive line pieces, and what this team is doing is they're figuring out you can win in the trenches. Defensive linemen, we're signing, an offensive lineman, we're re-signing, and that's where you win football games: defensive line and offensive line. And I think I know we're about to get into some of the signees, but at the same time, I still believe that slow down a little bit on your spending. Slow down.
Yeah, you never know.
Slow down because June 1st is coming really soon. Just slow down. Just take a breath and slow down.
The previous week, you said that based on what these signings on defense, there's no reason this team shouldn't be a top 10 defense. The Falcons just added Calais Campbell.
Yes.
Now, Falcon Nation, we're excited, but you have these naysayers that are like, "Hey, he's an older guy. He doesn't have anything left in the tank." What do you say to that? Because I think it was a great sign. Talk to us
Well,
about
well,
that.
well, with the depth at defensive line right now, you have a veteran guy that can come in and give you 20, 25 plays a game and be very disruptive.
Yeah,
Because in today's game, your Grady Jarrett's and everybody else, they can't pound for 65,
correct.
70 plays a game. So you need some guys that are veteran guys, some guys that are long in the tooth, that has credibility, that's been successful in this league to be reserves or even have great reserves on the bench where he's 33 years old, whatever age he is, he gives you your 25, 30 plays and he rests and you rotate. You in today's game, you have to be able to rotate your defensive line to be successful, not only in stopping the run, but getting pressure on the quarterback. So naysayers can say whatever they want to say, but this is a great pickup for this Atlanta Falcons team.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, it adds, like you said, adds depth and a
Yes.
solid piece there. So now, and we just picked up the Saints defensive tackle. I mean, defensive tackle right now seems pretty solid. That position,
Right.
we've got guys that we can rotate out,
Right.
like you say, when
Right.
Grady gets tired, the other
Right.
guys get tired, bring them in.
Right. And I think that the back end, we already talked about the secondary last week. I'm happy about that. I'm happy where they are at the linebacker position. But I'm telling you right now, sitting there for you in the draft will be Nolan Smith. And that gives you that speed that you desperately need on defense, especially rushing the quarterback and chasing down running back sideline to sideline. That's what you need. That's the cherry on the top right there. And I'm telling you, they're gonna finish. And I keep saying the top 10 because I truly feel that you just surrounded yourself with championship pedigree players on the defensive side of the ball. that's going to help that locker room and help that side of the ball.
And not only on the defense, I know we've discussed about receivers. How did you like this recent signing about Scotty Miller?
I was I was like, wow. I was kind of thrown back about it a little bit, but as we talked about last week in that position and what it really means to this offense, um, it's a good pickup. I think you have speed now, a guy that can get downfield, a guy that can make plays in the open field and take it a distance. I think you got that veteran guy that's been around and been in the championship locker room and been around guys who have championship pedigree. So if he's learned something, I think he's learned how to become a champion and prepare like a champion and act like a champion. And it'll help that meeting room, that young meeting room of the wide receiver group. So I think with what is it, Hollis and Miller are great ads. And I think Smith is he's the X factor in all this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you got London and Pitts. I I'm happy with the weapons that Desmond Ridder has, and then you have the strong running game. So I'm really happy right now with what they've done so far. But as I told you, my grade for them won't come out until after the draft.
And speaking, well, and I ain't gonna cut to the draft yet. I want to go back to your June 1st. We were talking about the money. Is some of that money going to go to some of these Falcons that maybe fans want to keep? The Cordero Patterson, the Zacchaeus, because we still got some guys that we don't really know their future yet with Atlanta.
Well, you know, I think it's tough, man. This right now, it's a business, and I'm not saying these guys are can't help you win football games, but to me, it seems like they're trying to. I'm not say upgrade, but really trying to look different
Yeah.
offensively and defensively. And does Patterson or Zacchaeus fit into that? I don't know yet. And hopefully they do because there's two guys that understand what Arthur Smith wants offensively. These two guys that understand the process that has been put in place and they want to be a part of the process. And I know fans want to see that too, but this is a business and players come, players go. Um, it's so funny is that uh I always, I tell my son, he's playing college football, whatsoever, this and that. I says, I says, what you need to understand about this sport, son, is this: is do not fall in love with the place because things can change,
Mm-hmm.
and it did for him. He his first head coach didn't get renewed. He got a head coach now, and he's trying to maneuver his way on, should I be here? Do I belong here? Do they want me here? That type of thing. So things change. And in today's NFL, you can't fall in love with a place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't because you don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, it's about winning now. And we're going to do everything necessary to win. And we're going to put the places and we're going to put the people in that locker room that we feel that's going to help us win. So you can never fall in love with the place in today's NFL.
Yeah, that's excuse me. Yeah, that's definitely like you said in today's NFL. You don't really know what's going to transpire and who's going to be here today or tomorrow. Just like some of these fan favorites that I know people are
Right.
concerned about. I've been seeing some mock drafts where the Falcons taking a corner with that pick. What what do you think?
I get it. I understand. They want another AJ Terrell on the other side, but I think Hayward would do it once he comes off an injury and he's healthy. I think he'd do a great job over there. I'm not worried about that. Where I'm worried about is that guy, that hybrid uh Micah Parsons
Right.
type of guy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's Nolan Smith.
Well,
That's him.
let me
That's
ask
the
you
guy
this,
we need.
because I love Nolan Smith, but I also like Will Anderson. What do you think we would have to do to get Will? What pick
Well,
do you what
I,
pick do you
I
think
think
he's leaving the board?
I think you would have to give up an asset and just swap picks.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't think you give up more picks. I think what you do, you swap picks and you give an asset up. So whatever asset that the Cardinals would like to have that's on this roster,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna ask for it if you're trying to move up to number four, wherever it may be where they're sitting number four. Yeah,
Yeah.
four. Yeah. Um, but is it worth it? Never know. So we'll see. But I would take a chance of holding tight at that position and Nolan
Uh-huh.
Smith falling to my lap than moving up. And I mean, you would have to move up right at number four. You
Yeah.
would have to wait for the first three to come on the board and then make that phone
So
call.
you don't think it's a chance that Will goes one or two or three? You think that they're going to be quarterbacks taken?
I think quarterbacks will be taken. Now, if he if he luckily falls into our lap, we must take him.
Yes.
But I don't know if he will. I don't know if he will. As you know, uh, quarterbacks, pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
It goes in that order. Quarterbacks, pass rushers. It goes in that order. Then offensive tackles. It's those three are the top three draft picks choices in any NFL draft.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good things though about Ritter. That they still been doing a lot of off season workouts with London, and there's other receivers. I don't know if he's really if Pitts how he's doing on his recovery and if he's been practicing, but I am
Right.
pleased to hear that about Desmond Ridder. It kind of gives you some positive outlook. Like we said, he did finish those last two games on the up and up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think Falcon fans are just so apprehensive because they don't have a larger body of work and they get dangled this carrot of Lamar Jackson in front of their face, and now they're
Right.
like, you know, it just
Well,
creates this dissent in a sense. I feel like
but
fan
here, and
base.
I feel you, but here's the thing: who's dangling that carrot of Lamar Jackson?
Yeah,
It's
it's yeah.
not the Falcons organization. It's the people out there, the
You're
fans,
right.
and these secret inside sources and all this stuff. These people,
Yeah,
I heard, they said. But did the Falcons say it? If the
right.
Falcons didn't say it, it doesn't matter because that's just a wish list. That's just like when you're 6 years old and you sitting on your daddy's lap or your mama's lap and says, you know what I want for Christmas? This is what I want for Christmas. And you might go, oh, that'd be nice. Let's ask Santa for it. And you going, there's no way we can buy that.
Yeah,
There's no way we can buy that. And then you're thinking, well, he already has something sort of like that there that he really enjoys. Why don't we just
right.
add to it?
And I think a lot of people, of course, we had Vic in Atlanta, so we get hung up on that duality of the thrower and the be
Mm-hmm.
able to run.
Mm-hmm.
But people forget Desmond Ridder. I think had the fastest 40 time in the combine
Right.
as a quarterback.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He has escapability. He's gonna move the chain with his feet. He I don't I I really want the Falcons to go away from the quarterback run unless it's really necessary.
Right.
I don't like that being part of the rushing offense because I think it really it really takes away a quarterback. I think a, a passing quarterback, a true passing quarterback, it kind of takes away from
His ability, yeah.
his ability to be that. Because think about this. Just last season, Josh Allen went to a more of running the ball more. And he kind of faltered in the fourth quarter of games and in red zones because is it because he's tired? Multiple hits, he may be injured, a little dinged up, a little woozy, bail
Yeah.
run, whatsoever. So you got to protect your quarterback that you expect to be a passer of the game and not have him take so many unnecessary hits.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think we're going to see the same exact offense as last year, just with
If
Ritter in there?
if we do, we're gonna win 7 games again. If that. I mean, I think that side of the ball is smart enough to know that we have to change some things and we have to get better in some areas and we need to work on it during the off season. You
Right.
can't you I mean, we've seen this offense for 2 years and it's been the same offense for 2 years. Now, as I said last week, there's no excuse. You got a guy that you feel that can that can manage the game, throw the ball down the field, make every throw. You got your wide receiver, you got your two tight ends, so you got your slot receiver, you got another receiver that can even spread, open it up downfield, and then you got this phenomenal running game,
Right.
and you got every lineman coming back, and you add to it. There's no excuses not to get better. There's none whatsoever. These guys know the system, know the scheme. Now it's time to get. If there's 100 books if there's 100 pages in your playbook, we need to go from 80 to 100 right now.
Mm. Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, because based on how we look and the way they're building the team, it looks like, the run is going to stay the focus
Right.
of the offense. I mean, basically,
Exactly.
they're trying to control the run on
Right.
defense and run the ball on offense.
Right.
Um, I hope that, like you say, it's opened up a little bit more
Yeah.
passing plays that wasn't put in there for Mariota. Maybe they
Right.
are for Ridder.
Yeah. 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 And you spoke about the defense. This defense is being built to have third and long situations. And you have third and long situations, you can put pressure on the quarterback, and those guys on the back end can make plays. They're
Right.
gonna make plays. They're gonna make plays. And this is what that front is building, where we stop the run, stuff the run, make it hard for them, put it third, 8, third, 7, and or longer. And then, hey, let's go get them, force a quarterback to make a mistake, turnover, great field position with this running game, play action, the receivers we have, the big receivers we have, march it in, let's go 40 yards, 6 plays, touchdown. That's how it should be. That's what this team is setting up to how they trying to perform. The way they're signing guys and what they're doing, that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm not in the meeting rooms whatsoever, but this is how this defense is being built. This is how
I
this team
agree.
is
That's
being
what
built.
it seems like. I mean, they're
Yeah,
getting all these big guys, these big
yeah,
bodies.
yeah.
They're trying to stuff that, and like you said, force them a
Right.
long third down, force them to make a pass. And now we've got
And
this secondary that should be able to make that
right,
plays.
we got tremendous speed on the back end. We got tremendous speed once you get past that front four. Those linebackers, we got speed at linebackers.
Right.
We got experience and speed at the defensive back position. So I like what we're doing, but I'm telling you, man, Nolan Smith is that cherry on the top where it's going to give you that guy that the Cowboys have, like Parsons. He's like a
Right.
Parsons type player, and you need that guy. You need that guy. He's special. I think he's really, really special.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, we've talked about it for years. The Falcons need a dog on the edge, and they need
Yeah.
somebody like that. And a guy like Nolan Smith, he'll be able to move around,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll allow those big guys, the Calais Campbells, the Grady Jarretts, all them in the middle to really do their
Right.
job.
Right.
Because
I'm
Grady's
I'm
really never had that.
yeah. He's never had it. He's never
Where he's
had.
just had one on one every game, one on one
Right.
coverage. He's not really
Right.
had that.
And he gets worn out in games because he's tried plays every play, and now you have the depth that you need where he can be fresh
Right.
most of the time, and a
He's
fresh
got to be happy,
Grady,
right? He has to
yeah,
be happy.
yeah, fresh Grady Jarrett is dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's dangerous. He's that, he's been compared to Aaron Donald for years, and now he has a chance where he has guys around him that's going to afford him to have one-on-one matches, give him rest, and be able to make some plays, more plays.
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
before I ask you what you got to say to end the show, just want to let you know in the comments, a lot of people appreciated what you said last week and continuing to tell how the Lord has blessed you and
Right.
touched you. So,
Right.
what you got for us today?
It's it's something it I was riding in the car today and it came to me, and I probably said it 3 or 4 times on this platform, uh, and I've said it over and over again. And we talked about Lamar Jackson whatsoever. Here's the thing. I've said before, what God has for you, he has for you. What he has for another person is for them. Should not see what other people have and wish upon that you have that, because that may not be made for you. It may destruct you. It may cause distractions for you. You so but I never but what I didn't say is this. You need to pray and fast for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say, I want what he wants. I want $60 million. I want a big house. I want this, 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 this. No, if you want that and you truly want that, you need to pray for that. You need to ask God for that. But here's the thing about it. Before you even ask, you better thank him for everything that he's done prior to this.
Right.
He wants to know that you're happy with what he's done so far and that you're ready to be blessed now and forever. Now, understand this, and I'm a truly believer in this. I'm a tither. I'm gonna tell you a short story about that. I wasn't a tither in 1997. Well, let's go back one year. 1996. I was broke.
Mm-hmm.
I was broke. I was what 6 years in the league, and I was pretty much broke. All I had was the condo I lived in, the jewelry that I had, whatsoever, and I had bills. And
Wow.
it was, and I had. I'm like, good gracious, September's a long ways off. This is June.
Yeah.
So I made it through there, and and it was ironic because I got to September, right before September hit, I got a new contract
Mm-hmm.
because I'm praying fervently. I'm like, my mama's praying, and I'm praying, and I'm praying, and I'm praying, and I'm praying. So when I got my signing bonus, I took 10% of my signing bonus and sent it to my pastor. And he calls me. He says, "Are you sure this is what you wanted to send? Is this a mistake?" I said, "No." I said, "This is what I'm thanking God for what He did for me. He saved my life. He saved my life. And this is what I'm supposed to do to give my tenth of my first fruit of my salary, whatever I get. I need to give it to the Lord. And what you do with it is what you do with it. But this is what I give to the Lord." And ever since then, everything that I've earned, everything we earn in this house, 10% of it goes straight to God. So guess what? He has a treasure in heaven for
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
He has a treasure. So when I ask him, Lord, I need, he says, "You, my faithful son, I'm giving it to you."
Right.
So before you start to ask for things, make sure you're doing your part. Make sure you're doing your end to please him so he can bless you.
Right on. Thank you as always, T. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everyone, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Send in those questions. I'm sure this guy's going to have his draft for you soon.
Oh, I'm holding it. It's already done. I think I got to make a couple of changes on it, but it's already done.
Well, yeah, there you go. You hear it. And if
Yeah.
you've been watching our show, you know Terrence's drafts are very, very close. I
Yes.
mean, very close.
Very close.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.